Welcome to the RubyCloud Entertainment. Yes. I don't know why I said it like that. People don't know who we are and they're watching this. My name's Aaron.
I'll be Mud.
Drop a screen recording on, then maybe every now and then shut the screen recording off. Kind of like ask everybody to just pause for a second so I can shut it off, and then that makes it easier in editing if I have multiple different ones instead of like 1 hour and a half long file to chop through. Maybe do it in like 3 stages. But anyway,
there is a way that you can. I don't know if you can do it with Discord on your phone, but there is a way that you can do it to where, you can set up a background to where, like, when you're walking, it just kind of looks like you have a moving green screen with you.
oh, okay.
That way, like, if you don't want to like show off your room or anywhere in your own house.
Oh yeah, no, I already figured it out, man. I got my computer set right here. I think in the background, I'm just gonna have RubyCloud Radio playing, but not the actual music. Right. Just turn it all the way down so I don't get copyright. Well, actually, I don't think you can get that on Discord. But I don't want to distract from the podcast. But I was just gonna have music videos playing in the background, or if I go home on my computer.
I mean, it's just something visual that's good to have in the background.
My kids must have did something earlier. I guess I didn't even realize that when they came in here earlier, they changed the background of my fucking computer to a black screen. But no, I was thinking about coming up with a bit of a feng shui or whatever. A very specific place. Maybe even get a very specific chair. I was seeing there's this guy I watch. His YouTube channel is called Diary of a CEO. He talks to some pretty interesting.
I've heard of it.
You've heard of him? Yeah, he's pretty interesting. I don't know. He's a really good. I've been watching podcasts that are interview style for a little while, and that was mainly just kind of like prepare for our podcast when we finally decided to, stop eating shit and actually do some work.
But speaking of chair, this is what I'll be working with. Just gotta remove all the shit off of it first.
Okay, there you go. I like it. Yeah, just set up a little something, and then I'm probably gonna write whatever freaking ideas for like directly on my thing, so I'm not sitting here messing with my phone. So like before the pod, I should have did it before this one, but I guess if I want, I can fucking edit things out because I totally said screw it and started screen recording this. I was like, oh, if it fucking works, we might as well just get all this and I can keep with the content. Hey man, I've tailored my freaking thing to where a lot of the content I see is just whatever shit you're posting, and it's getting to be fun because I'm starting to see a shift in all the things that I saw. Like I'll see a mix of yours and then like all the people I've interacted with and have like,
there you go.
Really proven that if you don't want to see something, don't interact with it. Don't stop on it. Nothing. Not even for like 2 seconds, because the moment you stop on a meme and you read that shit, it doesn't matter if you like it. Because Facebook knows, they fucking know you stopped scrolling to look at that meme. So, like, sure, if you want to glance at it real quick, but man, you got to like scroll past any of that depressing shit that Facebook be having. Because the moment you scroll past all that stuff, Facebook's just like so positive. Unless you like have like a really good comment section where you can back and forth with people and kind of troll a little bit. That I find is
you just gotta keep it community standard friendly though.
Yeah, for sure. You gotta be constructively critical of people in a sense that you're pointing out whatever the hell it is may be wrong with however it is they're thinking. But you got to do it in a constructive teaching manner, because otherwise, you're just arguing with people and there really is no...
That gets nowhere.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm not in the mood to argue with people. I'm in the mood to present my ideas, my views, my opinions, my questions, and get other people's views, ideas, opinions, and their questions. And then we debate our mindsets against each other in some capacity. Yeah, if it's more of an interview, we may not be necessarily debating per se, but it's good to bring fresh ideas to the table to people that may not know them or even consider
Acknowledge
them.
it.
Yeah, well, yeah,
Yep,
exactly.
that's
Yeah,
fair.
acknowledge. I guess that makes a lot more sense. Acknowledge that the information they're taking in is more than just bullshit. Because I'll agree. Like for the longest time, I thought self help anything was stupid, and then I realized like some of the stuff I started consuming was technically self help, and then I started really just listening more to podcasts rather than like self help stuff. And then started getting promoted self help stuff. And then I realized another thing: the algorithm knows you so well.
That's its job.
Well, not to mention YouTube and everything, you give access to your microphone, so they hear all of your conversations. People
Yeah,
would think
see,
that that's a bad thing, right?
yeah,
I don't think that it is. I've had multiple arguments with my girlfriend where it ended with her hanging up on me, right?
that's not cool.
It is what it is. We and her have an understanding. You know what I mean?
Well,
If
yeah,
uh we're not getting into that because anyway, like that's a different conversation, but we have an understanding. Um so we got into multiple arguments where she hung up on me, and then I would go to YouTube, and the first podcast I'd see, I'd just click it. First one. And usually these days, a lot of the stuff that I see is some podcast or some interview is like the first one on YouTube. So I clicked it. About 35 minutes into this conversation they're having, they explain exactly why I was wrong in the argument I just had with my girlfriend. And it wasn't that the information I was presenting was like inaccurate or anything like that. It was an understanding that fundamentally males work a certain way, females work a certain way, and I did the opposite of what a female would have wanted in that scenario. And I do it often, because I'm a dude. We see a nail sticking out, we try to fix it. Hammer that fucking nail down. Let's fix this problem. That is
yep.
not what your lady wants sometimes, at all, ever. Doesn't even really care about your suggestions to her problems.
She just wants to tell you about them.
She wants your understanding later on after she's already told you her problem and gotten your compassion and your understanding, which is something you should be doing anyway as a good partner. Your lady's coming
Yeah,
to you with some sort of thought or issue, and you should want to work that out with them, right?
yeah,
That's the problem though. They don't want to work anything out. They just want to be heard. They want to voice their thoughts and opinions in a area where they feel safe and understood, and they don't want you to try and fix their problems all the time.
yeah.
Now, if they're asking you to fix it, for sure, you better go fix it. Like, oh, honey, I got this fucking shelf that you said you've been trying to fucking hang up for fucking 2 weeks now, or
See,
whatever,
see, that's
whatever
the thing.
fucking shit.
See, that's the thing like that. See, if my wife asked me more than once or like twice to do it, and I kind of put it off, next thing I know, like the next time her brother's over here, it's the first thing he's doing. It's not
And
necessarily a bad
honestly,
thing.
you know what? Honestly, that's probably like, yeah, I don't, that's probably the universe just being like, hey, bro, she asked you multiple times. It's like a
Yeah,
little jabby jab at you almost.
it's like all he had to do was go out to the garage and get the drill gun and
Right.
fucking do it.
Yeah, exactly. So, that's not
Do
going
some
in.
laundry.
So did you come up with any random topics that you wanted to cover or anything like that?
As for this one, like
Yeah.
for this particular bid, um, hmm,
Or have you come across something that you wanted to discuss?
the topic in theory, but it's kind of hard to like get a concrete answer for it. You know what I mean?
Is it a question? I like questions.
more like what is foundation and fundamentals?
Of what?
What we're doing here.
The podcast. To be honest, the foundation is to, man, the new episode of the RubyCloud Radio kind of encompasses kind of the idea behind the podcast, which is, it was something Scrap's uncle said to me about how what I did in the first episode of A Day in the Life.
Okay. I
What
like that little series you had going.
It's still going. I'm working on fucking episode 3 right, dude. Like
Yeah.
it tears up. I know episode 2, and I suck at videography. I need to get better at it. I'm real shaky. I got my lady got me this. So, hopefully this improves the shaky cam. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can latch it to this, and I can fucking really fucking get a nice grip on that and solid my shoulders, and
Well, dude,
I'll-
you want to
hopefully.
get real into it? They have like a backpack harness setup that has the extendo arm that goes like over
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
It's real hard.
I was joking about that
Totally
before.
legit.
We're getting a little off track here.
Yeah.
So something
okay.
that Scrap's uncle said to me in the new episode, he said it makes people feel a part of something, So I'd like that to be kind of like the idea of the podcast, to be honest, is to like give people a voice. And what's even funnier is Sleazy answered the questions that all the other guys answered. So in episode 1, they all answered the same 3 questions. It was an idea I had when I was like, how do I make this documentary cohesive in any regard? I was like, it's just a bunch of random dudes doing sets. And I was like, how is this a documentary? And I'm like, well,
I mean,
questions make a documentary pretty much, right? Like, what is a documentary? Somebody has a question. They go around asking a bunch of people questions and trying to get answers for these questions. That's a documentary, pretty much. So I was like, well, let's ask all of them the same 3 questions. And that was the idea behind it. And that's kind of like the idea behind the podcast. You know what I mean? Like, all of this is kind of like coming together in a sense that just tells me I don't got enough people to talk to, and I'm probably in need of people to share thoughts and opinions with. I talk to my lady a lot, and that's fine. She's super smart, and I like bouncing ideas and conversations off of her, and she keeps me in line.
That's always good. I'm trying to find a good spot to sit down that ain't got a fucking bright ass light shining you in the face.
Is your chair taken up then?
Oh yeah, my dog is sitting in it, and my child keeps going back and forth. So I've relocated to my other living room.
Oh yeah, you're good, man. Yeah. I mean, do you have any like ideas or expectations? Like,
Personally, I'm gonna use this as a social experiment to, get to know people in the community, and well, artists, like yourself, need to be found, need to be promoted, need to have a voice. So I'd like to see all that and be a part of it. So
oh yeah, I like that. That's exactly right there. Like it makes people feel a part of something. That's what the docu-series kind of encapsulated, and I think that that's what overall the podcast can encapsulate. Like sure, it'll be focused on guests and this, that, and the other thing when we have a guest and whatnot. But other than that, me and you can just hop on here and shoot the shit about whatever random stuff we got going on. And these ones can be like highly edited because if we're doing it this way and whatnot, we can do whatever we want. We can edit them. I really don't want to do too much editing to like podcasts with other people and whatnot. So this is how dedicated to the podcast I am. I'm going full Sean Evans on these people, right? I'm like scrolling their social medias and screenshotting things to ask them, like, explain this. What is this?
Hey man, that's how it starts. I mean, it's interviews. It's basically, if you're gonna get
Sean,
somebody to interview on your show, right? Get as much information as you can about them. That way you're ready and can surprise them when they're sitting at the fucking table next to you
yep.
or over the screen like we're doing now.
Yeah, know the person you're in the room with. Fucking NF said that in a fucking song. Like, you don't have to know the names and albums of all my music, but at least find out who you're in a room with. There's something, I'm paraphrasing, but I think that's pretty on point to what he said. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to at least try and pump out at least one of these a month. I figure if we can record 2 in a month or even 3 or 4 the first month, then that kind of just gives us a backlog, or even however many we can record in whatever. And
Well, I can guarantee you 1 day a week. If you want to do something, we can do it as often as you'd like.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we can work around everybody's schedule. I know Sharpie was saying he's going to be here on the 8th, and he was interested. And I would
next week, yeah?
Go ahead.
Sorry, that's next week, yeah?
Yeah, today's the 2nd, I believe, right? It'd be in like 6 days. Okay. Yeah, so that would be like technically the second one of this. Which again could be released next month if we're gonna potentially chop all of this up and send it out as this may end up just being like episode 000, and like I said, I'll chop it up and try and make it cohesive.
Yeah, the pilot.
Yeah, exactly. I wanted to like test a few things. I'm actually super surprised that the screen recorder is allowing my microphone to pick me up and Discord to pick the microphone up at the same time. That is pretty cool. That is pretty interesting. I've never seen a screen recorder do that. The one on the iPhone, whenever I would try to screen record my microphone while being on any type of video call, it would tell me you can't like it just wouldn't pick it up. So I used to record certain things, like me and Sandra will have conversations and they're pretty interesting and we'll record them, and I've chopped a few up and posted them here and there, but never really got too into that. But yeah, no, I'd definitely like to do that. So real quick, we'll just hop into the idea. It seems how we kind of got the expectation of RubyCloud podcast out of the way. Expectations for like the people coming in that may see this at some point, I would think would be structure to some degree, the ability to have their voice heard and hopefully be wowed by some questions that they never thought of. Like, that's what I would hope for. I think I sent Sharp something that had like a pretty neat structure to it. Something coming up with.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want anybody to like alter their personality or whatever like that, but I do want some sort of decency, for the viewers.
Oh yeah, I mean, here's what I think about the viewers. As long as everybody is amicable and we're not yelling at each other, who cares if there happens to be a disagreement as long as we can finish the conversation? I think I will steer clear of things like that, especially like when there's guests or whatever, because, potentially, like, we can dive into deeper topics. And if somebody wants to come dive into some of the deeper topics after watching some of the stuff we talk about, then sure. But like the artist focus, it's really going to probably be leaning more towards them, where me and you sit down, we do research in a little bit of our spare time. That's why I want to line the guest up in advance, so we got plenty of time to research these guys. I was listening to Sharpie J's last album this morning and I believe I made it all the way through it, and I'm also doing reviewed by RubyCloud Entertainment. So any song that I listen to is going into that playlist. I'm still working on getting all of RubyCloud Radio in there because I've obviously listened to all those. And dude, by the way, that's actually a good leeway because I wanted to talk about RubyCloud Radio. That was not intentional. RubyCloud Radio. I so appreciate when I'm listening to it and out of nowhere, I'm just like, I've never heard this before. What is this? And I'm sitting there and I'm listening to it. I'm like, dude, this is good. And I was like, oh shit, did Mud fucking add a new one? Did Mud add a new one? And
Yeah,
I'll
dude.
fucking
I
scroll all
dropped
the
I
way
dropped some
down.
in there.
Yep. And 9 times out of 10, when you add a new one, I automatically drag it from the bottom and shoot it up the list somewhere. It's usually pretty random. Well, the only thing that I curate on there is the top 10. I don't curate anything. You can get bumped out of the top 10, and sure, you'll be in the top 20 because I don't do anything down there. But kind of the way I do it is I do it on a bit of a scale. Is it top 4? If it is top 4, the format is that it automatically goes number 1. Automatically. So everything's getting bumped down 1. That way it's fair. There's a structure to things. If something is top tier and it's pretty much people are saying like, dude, this is top 4, it gets slapped at number 1 automatically. It doesn't go number 4 and work its way up. No, it goes number 1 if it fits in the top 4 and everything gets bumped down from there. And then exactly. That's kind of how it works. Something can be top 10, and top 20 easy and whatnot. But it is probably going to be pretty hard if you listen to the top 4 on what's there right now to beat those 4 tracks. That's kind of the idea behind RubyCloud Radio. So if you ever add something there and you're like, hey, just shoot me a message, be like, hey man, I added a new track there, check it out. I think it's top 4. You know what I mean? If you say that, and I listen to it, and I'm like, hey, it's top 4. It's going number 1 on RubyCloud Radio. So keep that in mind. You can like Max Street, he's top 4 right now. That Happiness song was number 1 until.
I like Max Street.
Dude, he's good. He's good. I like him, dude. I like him. It sounds to me like he's speaking what's real for him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you can hear authenticity in lyrics. So.
Mm-hmm. And that's what drew me to him when I heard him do a feature with Bubby Galloway. That's how I found him. And then he did a feature with FJ Outlaw as well. So, yeah.
Broken in them home.
That's how I found him. That's how I found him. So.
Yeah, he's dope, dude. I like it. That's Brett Little Burger, cuz. I love it. I love it.
He all the little ad libs and shit.
Yeah. I dig it. I dig me some good ad libs. I suck at them. I'm horrible. I'm the worst at ad libs. I'm working on it. I want to get like a chamber of them, but I don't really like go and dig into my audio files after I mess with the song, which I probably should.
Yeah.
I should get better at that. And then just take all the ad libs and store them somewhere like an ad lib folder. Every ad lib from every song, just grab it, copy it, and move it over to a different folder. And then inevitably I'll have thousands of ad libs that are all labeled and be like, slap this bitch.
Dude, you can literally just do a 5-minute mini-sode of you just recording ad libs into a screen.
That would be pretty neat. That would be just fucking sit there just making random ass shit.
Not only would people pick it up in the songs later if you use them, but who knows? It could also be a potential funny blooper reel.
Oh, yeah. I don't really record myself in the studio, which is totally a missed opportunity, to be completely honest. I do sometimes when I'm like, oh, I need to do social media content, but honestly, I suck at all that stuff, dude. I am the worst. Hopefully, long-form content will make that easier for us. You know why? I can take all this shit, I can plug it right into there, and it will trim all that shit for me and spit out a whole bunch of shorts. I don't got to do nothing.
Good.
So I got like a bunch on. I got like, I think, I want to say it's like 4. There's 4 on there, and I need to take the other episode, the different episodes and whatnot, and just keep plugging them in there until it trims it all down into very easy stuff. Jesus.
You all right?
Yeah, throat got real dry after I hit that. But yeah, I would definitely like to make things real engaging as far as like the podcast, like because if people don't want or if people get bored, they're just gonna find something else to listen to. So whatever's being said just kind of has to be worth listening to, I guess. I don't know, something like that.
I mean, yeah, you got to keep it engaging. You got to keep it interesting, and I don't know, hit some notes that people weren't expecting.
That's exactly what I was thinking. As far as that's why I was like, if I could interview anybody, like anyone, it would probably be Sean Evans because that dude, or Nardwar. Nardwar is a good one. He's good. You ever seen Nardwar?
Yeah, he knows too much.
Yeah, yeah. That guy has connections.
Yeah, he knows way too much.
Yeah, I think he just has a team. He knows the FBI. He's got like people in the FBI or something.
Dude, what if dude is just part of the government? He's just social media influencer guy, but guess what? He legitimately does know everything about everybody.
He really does. It's insane. Like he's got to have like something, right? Like in like the CIA.
You'd
Something
imagine. I mean,
going down
he
to
has
Nardwar is part of the
thousands.
CIA. We're clipping this. What's going on? Calling it now, man. It's gonna come out.
Thumbnail.
He probably flew to Epstein
Thumbnail.
Island too. No,
Nah. Nah. Too soon.
saying random ass shit. So who you been watching these days?
Watching?
Yeah, listening to, watching. I don't know if you listen to stuff.
Oh, dude, I listen music-wise. I listen to a lot of shit. Like, I build playlists like every other week, just to have I guess, a structure of something a little different, so I'm not like having the same thing chiming in my ear all the time.
Okay, I feel that.
Shit. Watching? I just finished season 3 of From, which is on the MGM Plus. If you haven't seen it, it's like a psychological thriller.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I just mentioned that.
Yeah,
My wife just mentioned the same show I just told you about.
you said it's called
Yeah,
From?
yeah, it's called From. It's on MGM Plus, or you can find it on Roku channel, but you need MGM Plus to watch it.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't. I
Um,
usually only watch TV with my lady or when I'm feeling down on myself. So,
that's fair. Well, I
but
mean,
From, I'll probably have to. I don't have MGM Plus, and honestly, I got to talk my lady into getting. We got to get rid of all these damn subscriptions, man. I started getting rid of stuff and stopped buying certain shit, and I realized, hey, man, my bank account ain't looking so bad no more. I mean, it's not looking great. It's not looking great, but
it's looking better, a little
yeah,
healthier, right?
yeah, for sure. And honestly, what I heard something said a few times recently that like most Americans are $1,000 like uh expense away from a nervous breakdown. And I was
Pretty
like,
much.
man, I was like, what would happen if I had like $1,000 like bill right now that wasn't a regular bill that I'm already used to having? And I was like, man, I probably would freak out. I probably would just
Yeah, most
yeah, or like
definitely would.
yeah. And that actually kind of coincides with something else I heard. I don't know when I heard this, but it was I want to say it was Moist Critical, Charlie White. I don't know if you know him.
Oh, I know.
He
Very familiar with Moist.
yeah, he apparently now you're gonna have notifications pop. I'm gonna have to remember that. I'm gonna have to shut my freaking notifications off or something because I just had a whole ass notification cover your head. But anyway, he said something. I think he was talking about the person who freaking went and shot somebody over some mayo or whatever at like a Subway. This was a story he was talking about, and he
That's
talked.
fucked.
Yeah, he talks about how like most Americans are like one minor inconvenience away from murdering somebody, and they're
Yeah.
like wow, yeah, probably,
I
probably.
mean,
Like, you think most of
yeah.
the raging people on the internet aren't real? It's just like, yeah, most people are more composed in real life. They still exist. All those ragers on the internet still exist in real life. Just most people don't act like that.
Well, yeah, because I
Right.
mean, if you can be a keyboard warrior, no one's gonna punch you in the mouth. But if you do that in real life, you might get punched in the mouth
Right.
or shot.
Or shot. Because, you're only allowed to give a little bit of mayo. I don't know.
Right. Or
If you shoot somebody over mayo,
you
I feel like there's definitely a lot more going on that you were just like, that was like the final straw. And if that's the final straw, I'm sorry, and this may sound insensitive to, I don't know, a murderer maybe, pathetic. You shoot somebody over fucking too much mayo on your sandwich or not enough? Like, what the fuck, bro? I don't know who did
that's
that. I didn't look into the validity of the story, but I'm pretty sure it was Charlie that was talking about it. But yeah, that checks out though. With the way people act online.
yeah, it's a wild world out there.
And then people just post their crimes so openly these days. It's just no,
Yeah,
no one.
self-centered.
I don't get it. I guess it's that
Well,
terminally online brain rot. You know, when you're consuming a bunch of degeneracy online, it's no wonder that you become a degenerate, right?
yeah. I mean, you're usually most people tend to become a product of their environment, what they consume.
Yeah, I
It's
would say.
psychology. It's all psychology.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, that kind of goes hand in hand with you are the average of the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Well, like kids wise, like kids are spending probably more time with YouTubers than they are with their fucking own parents. Most of them, like a lot of them, probably. That's the reason why you got freaking 9-year-olds who listen to music that they probably shouldn't really be listening to, and then
Or
by the
like,
time, they're 13, they think that they're something that they're not. You know what I mean? False sense of confidence, I guess. I don't know. I guess that kind of goes hand in hand with like if you're like 9 years old and all you listen to is NF, by the time you're 14, you're probably going to be a depressed wreck, right?
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, man. Most teenagers I've met in that cycle of life, they just are already.
What do you mean?
They're just depressed. They're confused. They're discovering themselves. It's all confusing. Like, and
Yeah.
then you throw music like that in the mix, and it's like, oh yeah, now you have ways to identify it.
I've never felt sad listening to an NF song.
I have.
It always
He
makes me
is
feel better. Listening to music that I relate to makes me feel better, and I think that that's the reason why NF's music doesn't make me sad. I get a different
well,
feeling from it. Is it sad?
I can
Absolutely. Well,
I can relate
uh,
to a lot of it on different aspects.
right. Prime example, what is that? How Could You Leave Us? I don't listen to that song. No.
Yeah, that
You won't.
song,
Yeah, you won't. Yeah,
literally
that song comes on, I
fucked
skip
my
it.
brain all the way up.
Skip that song. That song is sad.
Yeah, yeah, it's about his mom, but I correlated to my father. So
Mhm. Yeah, honestly, like, that's probably the reason why I don't listen to it, because drugs and alcohol are a freaking issue in my family. It's like, man, when I listen to it, I'm like, dang, like, I
yeah,
don't
dude, that
know.
song fucked me all the way up. And then
Yeah.
like if you really want to like punch yourself in the face after that, listen to Mama afterwards.
Oh, yeah, yeah, is that's the one on the new album, right?
The most recent, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I thought that that was
It,
a really good closing to that chapter.
it is, yeah, it's basically a continuation of How Could You Leave Us, but it's the I forgive you note,
Yep.
not the why did you do this to me?
Yeah, basically, he I think he closed that chapter a long time ago, and he never really talked about it, and that's what that really was, like, he was bitter and resentful for a while.
I mean, he kind of alluded to it in multiple songs in
Yeah.
Therapy Session.
Yep. Illusion is not, or alluding to something is definitely not talking about it the way that he does. You know what I mean? I think happy really describes like probably where he's at now. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't know how to be happy and he doesn't know what he'd look like, but he's fucking trying because he found his map to hope. His music videos are insane. They are a freaking cinematic universe all their own, man.
And you notice how he's got like somewhere close to 70 songs, but he's only got like less than 10 videos. Unless he's made a whole lot more that I haven't seen.
I definitely think that he has more than 10. Definitely think that he has more than 10. But he doesn't make music videos for every one of his songs. To be honest, anybody who does is just wasting their time, to be completely honest. Unless you know that there is already a little bit of hype behind a song, there really is no. So like a good example of NF is usually he will always do the first song on his album to some degree. He's always promoting the album through the first song that's on the album. And then one or two other songs. And those are usually the ones that he makes music videos for. So you may actually be very, very right in the sense that he may only have like probably less than 20 music videos. Because if he only does one or two per album and he's only got like 5 or 6 albums, 7 or 8, maybe.
He don't really make a video for the single or the singles off the album.
Yeah, so like he did a few for The Search. I know that for a fact because The Search had its own music video. When I Grow Up had its own music video. Time had its own music video.
Yep.
I want to say that there was another music video on that album. And then he did one for the first two songs of the new album. What's that?
Why? The song Why.
Yeah. Does that even count? Because that song released to promote the album. So does that one really count as one on the album?
I mean,
I don't think
it's on the album.
I know that it's on the album, but I'm pretty sure that song, like maybe it was the culmination of why he made the whole album in the first place. But I think that one, I don't think that one had anything to do with the album, to be completely honest, because that's why it was thrown at the. So it released before the album.
Yep. It was a single.
There was promo. There was promo for the album inside the music video for it for sure, but I think his label made him put that at the end of the album so that way all of the hype from that was generated before his album released technically counted as album sales because that song was on the album. You see what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fair viewpoint.
That's definitely it's how the RIAA works or whatever that registered place is. But yeah, no, damn, hell yeah, we went on a fucking tangent about NF there. Actually, when I was asking, just to kind of like circle back to the question before, when I was asking about who you watch these days, I was mainly talking like content creators. Is there anybody like that you keep up on as far as a content creator? And I'm not talking like myself, really. I mean, I guess you could mention like the other guys, but.
As far as content creators go, I mean, I watch Beard Meets Food. Watch a lot of his stuff. He's from the UK. He just does food challenges and shit like that.
Food challenge. Oh, so like just random food internet challenges.
Yeah. And he's been doing it for quite a few years now, and like he actually travels to other countries and shit to do their food challenges at like restaurants. Like, there was a restaurant on Portage Road that just closed down not too long ago over here in Michigan.
Big Burrito?
No. It's over here Portage Road. It's like some cafe place. I don't remember what the fuck it's called right now. But anyway.
I don't know, bro.
Beard Meets Food actually did the food challenge there back in August.
Oh, nice. You should go to Big Burrito if they're still open. They have a food challenge.
I'm pretty sure they are still open.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah.
Burrito? Yeah, the one over on KL that's been there forever.
I believe so. I haven't been there in forever either, but I know they have one. They're huge burrito. If you can eat it in, I think, a certain amount of time, it's free. Something like that.
I know once upon a time they did a one that was like, like those old plastic lunch trays, like middle school time. Basically, it was two of those, but it was one burrito,
Oh, okay.
and it was like it was like $30 or whatever.
24, I
But if
think.
you can eat it all in one sitting, it was free.
Yeah, that's big burritos, freaking shit,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that shit was good.
I don't think I can do it,
That
man. We should do that on a podcast one day. We'll just freaking sit down and record a podcast talking while eating a freaking huge ass. Do a food challenge podcast. That'd be interesting.
That'd be
That
hilarious.
sounds like neat content, to be honest.
I
We
mean,
gotta
it's
hurry up
popular.
and finish it too, so that we don't have to spend money to make content. That's even more incentive to finish it. I don't like spending money making content. I'll buy the equipment, but that's about it. I don't like spending money making content.
Kind of chop it and blend.
Oh, well, yeah, I looked and it was like friggin' 45 minutes. So, well, yeah, if we're doing a conversation, to be honest, as long as I take the two conversations and chop them to, or like when I was editing the new episode, I really wanted to like hone into like how film would be done and what like,
Yeah,
so how do they produce a film? Well, they probably produce it in scenes. They just make a whole lot of scenes and like put them together in a cohesive
yeah.
manner. So
Piece
it
it
doesn't
together like
really
a puzzle.
matter what order anything ever goes as long as the cohesion between subjects. And actually, I don't even think that
Yeah.
necessarily matters because you could completely change subject and context between scene to scene.
It just needs to, make sense
For sure.
storyline wise.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of people ain't good at doing that these days. Oh my God. I checked out of a lot of stuff. Yeah. Maybe I'll get back into a few of the things inevitably. I need to get me like a quick fold up desk so that way I have something in front of me or something to just set shit down. So I'm not like
I
constantly.
keep one. I keep one next to my TV stand.
Yeah.
And
What do you think of my like background? I got my computer right over this shoulder. I got my mic here,
um,
and then
from where you're sitting and the way the camera's angled, I would move your laptop a little more to what would be my left and
yeah.
your right. That way, if anybody wanted to watch whatever you're playing better, it wouldn't be covered by half your shoulder.
So that way.
Just that way. Yeah.
All right. I was about to say we're gonna
Yeah.
point the opposite direction. I don't know if you realize that. So you're gonna say you're gonna point.
way
You're
my
pointing at this side of my phone.
this way, right? Yeah, that way.
Yeah. So yeah, I have
The
my
way my
laptop setting right there, so I'll have to move that out of the way. But no, that's actually a good point. That's a good point. And
yeah.
what is that? Red light. Oh, it's my. I know what it is. It's my LED. I wonder if I do that. Oh yeah. And then to be honest, I'm not really worried about the microphone being in the shot, and I could always. But then I'm not centered. I don't like that. But yeah, no, that's a neat idea. Make sure they see that thing, and then maybe I could even actually just turn myself. Oh, actually, I like that a lot.
Hey, plus look at
Like
this.
that a
The
lot.
way you're sitting also,
Mhm.
your mic and shit you got in the background kind of looks like it's an extension of your chair.
Oh, that's interesting. So you want to see what my chair is?
Sure. Check it out. a
It's my.
little
So I
footstool
bought
thing.
story time. I bought my girlfriend vanity because she's used to having one at her house, and
Yeah.
she comes up here, so she needed a vanity. So I bought one. Pretty sure it cost about $300. And I was like, oh, that's a pretty good price. It's not bad, but it's definitely a child's vanity.
Oh yeah.
Her Her booty is so big, like I fit on it. I fit on it, and just I don't have anywhere near as wide a hips as she does. It's amazing. She accomplishes being able to sit at this. Like she just took it like a champ. She made a couple of jokes and then let it go. Has not said anything else about.
Hey, man.
I mean,
There, at least. You tried.
when you're setting this low, well, like to be honest, it's not bad. Like for me, like my height wise and whatnot. Like honestly, I don't know. It seems like a child's vanity, but like I could technically sit at it just fine. When my legs are straight, I'm not all cramped up. I actually use this chair all the time. I probably shouldn't. So this is the chair I use for my desk. I was like, I'm not bringing another chair in here, man. I'm downsizing already. I'm not bringing more chairs. But yeah, that was funny story time. Took it like a champ.
Hell yeah.
That thing took forever to put together too.
I bet.
Took forever. 20 minutes, to be honest. Before she's coming up here in a few weeks.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, for her birthday. We're gonna chill. I don't really know what we're doing. We don't have any plans. We're going to a Connor Price concert. March, I think it is.
Hell yeah. You
Connor,
heard the news?
the Connor Price.
I'm assuming you've heard Molly then?
Molly's song?
Yeah, the song Molly's song. It's a good one. I like it.
Yeah, it's interesting. I like it. It's an awful, it's like Jude's song, but like newer. Whatnot. I was talking to my lady about it. I need to listen to it a few times a few more times to see if it really clicks. Because I don't know when I originally heard it, I've only heard it a couple times because I usually just stream RubyCloud Radio, and if a song doesn't make it on RubyCloud Radio, I'm not really streaming it that often.
That's fair.
Yeah, RubyCloud Radio to me, it's like it's work, but it's fun work, right? It's something I want to do, so I can only guarantee.
It's a baby project that you're trying to blossom.
Right, yeah. And if I can't guarantee that anybody else is streaming. I know that you, out of all people, probably stream it more often than anybody else does because you're capable of curating the playlist however you like, you know? And here pretty soon, actually, it's a good leeway back into that. But yeah, I don't really listen to too many other songs other than that. But I need to listen to Molly's song a few more times for sure to get a really good grasp on whether or not I really think it just sounds like Jude's song. And
I actually haven't heard that.
Yeah, he did another one, and I don't want to say it sounds exactly the same, but like it's I don't know. Maybe I feel like I'm being a little cynical about it. Maybe I am. I'm probably being a little too cynical about that. I only heard it a few times, so I need to listen to it more for sure.
That's fair. I mean, I've literally only heard 2 songs.
Two
by Connor Price.
Really?
2 songs. That's it.
What?
I've heard Molly's song and I've heard I Need Help.
Oh man, you need
which he had 2 or 3 features.
Listen to fucking Don't Give Up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's on RubyCloud Radio. Yeah, Connor Price is all over RubyCloud Radio. You play RubyCloud Radio, you'll find some Connor Price.
Well, I don't necessarily pay attention to like what the screen says. I just have it in my ear playing.
Yeah.
So.
Don't give up now. I've been chasing this my whole life. Or yeah, I can't give up now. I've been chasing this my whole life. Something like that. There's a line in there. You'd like it. You would. I guarantee it. I guarantee you would like it. Yeah, it sucks that I know we're hosting this on Discord, so I guess technically if we really wanted, we could do like exclusive RubyCloud podcasts.
Oh man, children are a hoot.
Oh yeah, dude, man. Mine before like I told him I'd like go to the bathroom, and Liam's freaking out on me. I don't even remember what he was mad about now that I think about it. Why was he mad? Oh, because puzzles. I wonder think he was mad about. Oh yeah, because I told him he had to go play in his room for a little while, and he was like yelling at me. I'm like, dude, you don't yell at me, man, because you yell at me, it makes me want to yell at you, and I don't like that. I don't like I even ended up having a conversation with him about it. I was like, I don't like that you affect my energy like this. Cut it out. You start yelling at me, and it makes me want to yell at you. So we're not helping each other. Because I
Makes
don't
sense.
want them to yell. I don't want them to be mad all the time, and I can see them getting angry because I get angry, and it's like, fudge, man, it's my fault they're so damn angry because kids don't even really they know frustration, but kids don't really
Mhm.
know anger. You know that like that, oh, I can't do it.
Mhm.
They learn that on their own. I don't know where the hell they learned that. Right? And I remember having that feeling as a kid. And I
Mhm.
think the reason I would get angry is because my parents were angry people. You know? Like they dealt with their frustration through anger, and I think that rubbed off on me. And like, don't get me wrong, I'll bop one of them upside the head, and I won't be mad about doing that. You know, like you ain't listening to me. Shut up. Listen. Stop talking. Listen. Not even like stop talking. Is fuck, man. They just don't listen. Kids are. I love them to death, and they're smart. Like they got to the point where they're just like, why do we gotta listen to dad? Like dad ain't gonna shut up. You do what I say. Dad will keep telling you to do what I say until you get so annoyed that you do the thing that. And Aerith, she's like me, just all of a sudden, and you freaking talking to her. She's just,
Just off in
and
her
then
own
she'll
world.
realize that you're still there. You know what I mean? Because I guess object permanence hasn't settled in her brain. Like things don't just poof out of existence just because you're not looking at them.
Yeah.
This isn't this isn't Minecraft where it only generates what's directly in your field of vision.
I yeah. It's an odd concept
Object
to
permanence?
think about now. No, like being in the mindset of a kid that doesn't necessarily have object permanence.
Right.
That thinking back, like being a kid,
Yeah.
looking at yourself in situations like, man, that's exactly what that was like.
Yep. 100%. 100%. Yeah. Self-awareness is crazy too, especially like when you like let go of like a lot of things that could be affecting the way that you remember things. You know what I mean? Because you may
Mhm.
remember something a certain way, right? And then you hear somebody talking about something, right? They're not talking about it in a good way, right? They're just like, "Hey, this is
Yeah.
a problem," and then you're like, "Have I ever done that?" You sit there and you really think about it, and you're like, "Fuck." All the time, bro. All the time. Doing that. And it's like, can't do that no more. Gotta give it up.
Nope.
Gotta give it up.
Gotta do better.
Yeah, yeah. It sucks because it's fucking hard, man. It's a lot easier to sit around eating snack cakes and stuff instead of waking up at 2:30 in the morning and, drinking a protein shake and doing well, I think I did 30 squats this morning. I think if I had tried 30 squats in December, that would have freaking killed me. Just 30, just regular squats. And when you realize, can you stand up and sit down 30 times in a row without your legs hurting? It's super simple task, right? Super
Yeah.
simple. And most people can't accomplish it.
Nah, because I mean, physically, you think about it, it's like, yeah, very simple task, but doing it, your mind starts getting in the way.
Yeah, well, I'm talking like in the sense of you're talking like just actually like working out and whatnot.
No, like the exact situation of just sitting up and down.
Mm,
Well, I guess, yeah, but I'm using your example. That's all.
okay. Um, I'm mainly talking about like What was I trying to say? I lost my train of thought. But
It happens, man. It happens.
yeah, like most people can't like if I said that to somebody, I'm like, can you stand up and sit down 30 times? Or like if you did it, do you think your legs would hurt? I feel like most people would probably say no, but effectively that's doing 30 squats, standing up and
Yeah,
sitting
dude.
down 30 times in a row.
Your legs are gonna hurt at least a little bit.
Oh yeah, they
Hell,
definitely hurt.
you're fine if it
Dude, my
hurts.
knees thank me these days. Don't get me wrong, like they still kind of hurt, and I gotta like push through that, and they still pop and whatnot. But so anyway, yeah, being better, gotta definitely do that. So do you like keep up with like gaming news and stuff like that?
It depends on the game, but usually if there's anything important in the gaming tube, my wife
Mhm.
usually tells me about it
Oh, okay.
because she keeps up for that.
Yeah, a
I
lot of
just
times.
play games.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, that makes sense. Honestly, I don't really keep up too much with like video game like releases. I just keep up with the hemisphere because I don't want it to die. And I don't think it's never gonna die, right? Like effectively.
No,
There's no way. Like for sure the AAA game economy is about to like it's pretty much not gonna work anymore. Except for certain IP. Beloved IPs. So like Pokemon's not going nowhere. They could charge $100 for the game, people will pay it. As long as the games are still progressing forward, you know.
and have maintenance. You know,
Yeah, I don't think I might buy Pokemon A to Z or whatever it is that they're calling it. I might if it's very similar to Pokemon Legends Arceus. But I don't know if I'm gonna buy like Scarlet and Violet.
dude, the
I
last
am a
Pokemon game I
diehard
ever played.
Pokemon fan. It's like one of the it's one of the franchises as far as video games that I love supporting because I love the IP, right? I love Pokemon. But man, was that game not good. Like you gotta talk about not growing with your audience. Like don't get me wrong, kids love Pokemon no matter what. And I'm not saying add more mature stuff. That's not what I'm saying. But stop doing the goddamn bare minimum. Like, you're fucking Nintendo. I don't know who made Scarlet and Violet, but they're definitely not the fucking people who made Tears of the Kingdom, because whoever made Tears of the Kingdom knows what the fuck they're doing. Like, like, like Breath of the Wild, it's uh the best game in my opinion because of the way it uses the hardware, the way
Yeah.
the game itself operates, and just the overall like it was fucking $60 and you could literally spend thousands of hours in that world. You know? And there's only a few things that people are gonna be willing to pay that much money for, right?
Yeah.
So when everybody's just releasing $100 games left and right, like nobody's gonna have the money to pay for that. At least not the people that are playing video games like that.
Well, while we're on track with Nintendo, I've been playing Mario Party Jamboree on the Switch.
Oh, nice. Nice. What is that one?
It's the brand new Mario Party game.
Okay,
I got it $20 off. It was $60 game, but I got it for 40.
there you go.
And my wife and I and a few of our friends play it pretty often.
I think they did it right with their Nintendo vouchers in their online store. When you're
Mhm.
buying Nintendo games, always buy them two at a time. Yeah, you're spending over $100, but you're getting two games and you are saving $40 usually because that's all, I believe those vouchers are only $100 and some change, and you can
Mhm.
use them on any games in the list. So obviously, go to the list first and make sure that you want the games. But like they had Pokemon on those, like so you could buy that voucher and get both Pokemon games for $100 instead of buying both Pokemon games separately for 70.
Yeah,
I
that's a
believe
good deal.
Switch cartridges are $69.99 usually when they're first released. Physical copies. I don't know if the game online is that. I think they do $69.99, $59.99.
Yeah, they're still like. I mean,
I think it's $60,
when
right?
we bought J.O. on the Switch, it was still $60 digital, but like we got it for 20 off. So
Yeah, and I think there's certain games like I'm pretty sure that Tears of the Kingdom was $79.99 unless you bought the voucher.
damn.
Yeah. So I bought the voucher for $100, and I'm pretty sure I got Tears of the Kingdom, and then I grabbed Pokken Tournament, which is actually a pretty dope fighting game. There's nothing like seeing a Pikachu getting punched in the freaking face, bro. It's an experience, man. You ever watch Pokemon? Sometimes you want to punch Pikachu in the face, man, but nobody punches him in the face. You just shoot a fireball at him or whatever. But
Throw a rock at him.
it's pretty neat watching a Pikachu and a Blaziken actually fist fight. It's pretty, like Tekken. Yeah. You ever checked it out? Pokken Tournament?
Nah,
It's on the
I
Switch,
have not.
man. It's a fun little fighting game. I played it for a while on the Switch. So, good. I kind of did that almost intentionally. RubyCloud Gaming. So,
Oh.
seeming how you're kind of like the head of that whole department, because I don't really do any gaming. Whatever ideas you come up with, man, I'm probably on board with. There's not really a lot you could do to really, and I'm probably going to help you with it if you need something. You know what I mean? Like, if there's a particular game that you're interested in, you're a few bucks shy of getting it or whatever, but you got a little bit, man, I'm willing to help out. You know, just like we're all a cohesive thing here.
I mean, as of right now, I'm just playing what's on Game Pass, Ultimate on Xbox, and
I want to
going through their list.
get into gaming on a computer, man, because I really I'm done with the whole systems thing. Like, it's kind of pointless. Like, why buy a new system every few years? You can just build. I know most games aren't optimized for a computer, but that is where it's going. And here's the thing: you can play on the controller on the computer, so why not? And you never have to buy a new system. Just buy
Yeah,
a system that.
you just gotta upgrade your computer, which
Not necessarily. Like, here's the thing. Like,
probably
what do you want? Like, do you just want to play games, or do you want optimized everything on the computer? Like, what are you doing here? Like, you don't need to optimize to play games. I really don't understand this. Are you like, you don't need 60 frames per second. You don't need all this hogwash. Like, yeah, sure, if you're online gaming, I guess. But even then, like, I'm pretty sure 40 frames per second was just fine for online gaming for forever. And like nobody
you're
had,
playing.
I don't remember anybody having issues, right?
Well, that all depends on the games people are playing these days. Like, if you're playing a newer game, you're gonna need newer shit. Otherwise, it's gonna look like garbage.
Yeah, I guess if that's your argument. But like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't, I don't care about 4K, bro. I think most of that just doesn't even really look right. I realized, like, even with like some of that, like when you're filming, like with like a legit camera, if you're filming, like, you shouldn't be shooting at more than 24 frames per second, because if you do, what ends up happening is everything doesn't look real.
I've noticed that, like, even in movies.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
I'm just like, wow,
You can
this whole
really,
panoramic. Yeah.
yeah, you can really work with it depending on the camera that you have. So you can, like, movie cameras are much better at it than like a regular camera, but like my camera will shoot 4K footage, and it does look kind of strange. And the reason that is because your brain is trying to compensate for what's happening. That's my theory, because we really only perceive a certain level of frames per second. You know?
Yeah.
Again, with gaming and whatnot, what I think happens is when you increase the amount of frames per second online that everybody's game needs to run at to optimize this server, you know what I mean? If there's any
Yeah.
type of issue anywhere, you're messing with somebody else's gaming experience potentially. You know, like could that be fixed potentially by just dropping the frame rates allowed on online gaming?
It's all depends with paying really, because I mean your internet connection and shit could affect how everyone else's game plays as well. If you're doing multiplayer, which
Yeah, especially if
a
you're the
lot of
host.
shit I do multiplayer.
Right, especially if
Like
you're the host.
I mean I'm a console gamer. I have a PC. It's pretty decent. I do play some games on there, but yeah, people's internet connection really do affect the way certain maps or way the playability of certain games, or some clips I even have made. Like you can see in the video, I literally run a guy over in GTA, right?
Mm-hmm.
But like the frame splits, and all of a sudden he's not run over, and he's like 3 feet behind me, lighting me up with a rifle. It's ping, man. Internet connection. The way it all comes in
He's
registers.
probably using Starlink or something. Just joking.
I don't know, man.
But I don't know. I don't know. I think games got too high quality for their own good, and now it just takes so long to churn out a game that like they can't help but charge more for the dang games, right? Like you got like
Well,
thousands of people who put millions and millions of dollars into this. They need to make millions. Like that's why Elden Ring worked really well, right? Because people wanted it.
yeah.
I feel like people would have easily paid $100 for freaking Elden Ring.
I mean, shit.
I think most people
People
did, right?
come again. What?
I think most people did pay like the $100 buy-in or whatever, right? Because there's like
The Elden
extra
Ring?
stuff if you think about it.
Yeah. People do the same thing for Baldur's Gate. People have done the same thing for like hell. Myself, for instance, several years. It's been a long fucking time, but back when Tom Clancy's The Division, like the first one, came out, I bought the gold tier edition, which was like $120 for the game and all the DLC and all the bullshit.
Right.
Game is garbage.
That's why I
I
can't get
actually
on board with this stuff, man. I can't because I see this time and time again, dude. Like again, and I fell for it too with like Pokemon for years. Like I liked like say what you will about Sword and Shield, but overall, I thought it was a good Pokemon game. Yeah, they fucking finally went into some sort of open world thing. So yeah, of course, I didn't think that it was going to be like next gen, but then the next time they did that. Legends Arceus came out, and you were throwing your Pokeballs, and you didn't even have to like engage Pokemon. You can sneak up on. Have you played this game?
nope.
Dude, it's good, dude. It's like
The last
it is
the
literally
last Pokemon
Pokemon gotta catch them all. It's not, oh, let's run through the 8 gym badges, make the best team pass possible, and do this. No, you have to like it does kind of have that concept when it comes to uh
right.
like, oh, go to this area, do this area, do this area. So there is an area aspect to it that is kind of still there, and I believe no, that's Scarlet and Violet I'm thinking of.
Dude,
And
yeah,
it
the last
literally is about
game,
catching all of the Pokemon, and you have to research. You're a Pokemon researcher. You have to catch multiple of the same Pokemon. You got to do this. You got to. You're making the first Pokédex out of paper, pretty much, out on scrolls.
geez.
Yeah.
My
So
one question
I
for
don't know how.
you though is,
Go ahead.
in that game, like, do they have all 800, 900, whatever the fuck there are now, or is it just the original like 150?
So the game takes place in a prehistoric version of the Sinnoh region. So
Okay.
Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, if you're not familiar with the Sinnoh region is, but that's the from
I'm not familiar with it.
yeah, so that's the Sinnoh region, and it's actually a mixture. It's not like so if you tried to correlate, oh, Gen 4 Pokemon are these, those aren't the same ones that are there. So like the 3 starters in Pokemon Legends Arceus are from all different regions.
Crazy.
They didn't even use the original like the Sinnoh ones. I can't remember who were all 3 of them. I know Samurott is one of them. And then they gave all 3 of them brand new final evolutions. That was something I was saying years ago, and then they finally did it in Gen 7, whichever one is the Alola region. They finally they're called regional variants, pretty much.
Yeah.
And I had the idea when I was younger because like a bird here doesn't look like a bird over there, but they could be the same bird, right? The exact same bird, but it may be all the way over on that side of the world, so it may look a bit different, right? Same bird, but different.
Yeah.
Why isn't that the same with Pokemon? Like, why is this Pikachu over here the same as this Pikachu over here? Why is this the same as this one over here? And what happened is in Gen 7, they introduced regional variants. And they took old Pokemon and gave them new looks. So I think Cubone, if you remember Cubone, got a new evolution. It was still Marowak. It's still Marowak, but it's a ghost type Marowak.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So it's ground
And
ghost
think
or
of
just ghost?
you know the fire spinners, the fire dancers with the sticks
Yeah.
from like Hawaii, like
Yeah.
those guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's based off of, but also a ghost. So imagine Marowak, a ghost, and one of those tiki dancer fire breather guys all smashed into one. So it's a ghost type. It's pretty neat. It's pretty neat. Sandshrew is still called Sandshrew for some reason. They didn't change its name, but it's all ice. It looks like a little igloo, and it evolved into Sandslash. Again, don't know why they didn't change the name for this particular one. And it has like icebergs coming out of its back instead of just porcupine style spikes. Pretty interesting.
So it sounds like they just got lazy with it.
No, honestly, I think that was one of the better things because they were coming up with some pretty off the wall Pokemon. Like, there's a key, like keys are a Pokemon, a set of keys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's just something I've seen in the meme trail garbage line of the internet, but is there a Pokemon that literally looks like a fucking motorcycle?
Oh yeah. That was in Scarlet and Violet. Yeah, that was part. Yeah.
What the fuck?
I liked some of the Pokemon. Yeah, I think you're talking. I think Reverum, maybe. It's a Pokemon based off of an engine, if that's the one that you're referring to. Basically,
I don't know.
I don't get the concept.
Absolutely not good.
Not all Pokemon have good concepts. The best Pokemon concept is like I said, like Marowak. Like it looks like a Pokemon, but there are multiple ideas happening all at once to converge. So, like, there's a 3-headed dragon called Hydreigon, right? And it is literally, if you look at it a certain way, you can tell that it's based on a tank with 3 guns. It's pretty neat. And Remoraid, if you look at Remoraid from the side, it's based on a pistol, like a gun. It's a gun mixed with a fish. Octillery, that's why it's named Octillery. It is a octopus and a tank, or an artillery weapon.
What are they doing?
Oh yeah, no, dude, Pokemon concepts are dope. I love what's some good ones?
I mean,
It's another really good one. I don't know. Like they got one based on Anubis, Lucario. It's a pretty dope Pokemon.
See, the last thing I'm familiar with Pokemon-wise, like the last game even that I even played, was Ruby on the SP.
Oh, dude. I spent so many hours. I beat those games so many. I know those games inside and freaking out.
See, Gold, Silver, and Diamond. No, Gold, Silver, and Crystal, sorry. Those are the three that I know inside out.
Yeah, those ones are good. Dude, the OG games way back in the day. Ones that started it all. What else could
I'm sponsored.
not sponsored. Maybe one day. Maybe one day. Oh, where's this? So I was thinking at the end of each of the podcasts or whatever, we could finish with like an inspirational quote or something. Say we could discuss the inspirational quote or just end with an inspirational quote. And same thing with like if we had a guest, right? For instance, we say an inspirational quote, we can converse about the inspirational quote itself with the individual, and then see if they have a quote that really means something to them, and then episode over. And then just like a bit of a format to it, you know what I mean? Kind of like, I don't know if I think we talked about this a while ago when I was really first coming up with the ideas and really settling on what the podcast would be like. I still kind of want that idea where it's mainly about passion. So we lead with questions about who somebody is, why they do what they do, and then we dig into their past. We don't go into like interrogating them about everything that they've done, this, that, and the other thing. That's why I thought it would be neat when we start asking more like, I guess, share stuff about yourself questions. It would be neat to start with like a question about a photo they have on their Facebook. So like, how many people are going to be expected that I went to their Facebook and then was like, explain this. What is this?
What's this about?
What's going on here? You know,
Receipt.
not necessarily in like I always thought that was funny when Sean Evans would do that with like pulling up a random Instagram photo or whatever.
While you're over there fucking eating hot wings, trying to fucking not have your mouth on fire.
Yeah.
I would do that.
I thought that would be I thought that would be neat.
I'm down.
I want things to kind of go ahead.
I was just saying I like the idea. That's all.
Yeah, I wanted to kind of have a bit of a format, but just still feel like pretty authentic. You know, like a bunch of dudes just shooting the shit, or you know, just chilling. Give everybody a voice. I think a lot of the times what happens is most people don't get to talk about themselves enough.
See, it's funny you say that because I personally hate talking about me.
You'd be a great interviewer, to be honest, then. Because it's all about just asking somebody a question and being like, interesting.
Very much. Oh, dude.
Yeah, I would just like everything to just flow organically and pretty authentically.
It's the best way.
What's a content creator that you recommend that people check out? What? I said what? That sounds weird. What? Who is a content creator? Well, I guess what could be interesting these days too.
Yeah. Yeah. Shit. I don't really got one right now. I haven't really been watching anybody that's I'd recommend at least. that's not like big and mainstream. I don't want to blow up mainstream people. They're already mainstream. They already got a following.
Yeah, I guess that's true. I don't know. I try to consume a lot of content that makes me think, and I think that that's why that I really leaned more into podcasts. I try to listen to at least one podcast a day, usually about a subject that I've never really even heard about before or even remotely thought of, and I kind of just go by whatever YouTube starts recommending me. I think
I
I,
mean, it's a good way to get insight into other things that you genuinely wouldn't get insight in.
yeah, yeah, I highly recommend finding someone whose approach that you enjoy and use them as the news, right? So a good way of thinking about that is Asmongold. I don't know, you ever heard of Asmongold?
Yep.
So him, I may not agree with everything that he says, but he thinks critically about things. He's usually pretty unbiased because he's got no stake in many matters because he doesn't give a fuck. Kind of like me. And if he's paying attention to it, maybe there's a reason, you know? I respect him, so maybe there's a reason why he's paying attention to something, you know?
It's a good way to think about it.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept.
That's why I usually like recommending things that I listen to, like Upper Echelon. I bet you would like him, dude. He does like video essays where he like deep dives on shit that's going on the internet that people may not know about.
Interesting. I'll
CoffeeZilla,
check it
he's
out.
another good one too. CoffeeZilla, you ever heard of him? He
No.
usually focuses on like people scamming in the crypto sphere, usually. But like he's pretty like I can't wait till he branches out of that a little bit. I know that that's like his niche and he's got it fucking locked down, but I think that he would be a really dope just overall filmmaker in general based on like the stuff that he already does as far as investigation. Like if you're extremely good at investigative journalism and your videos almost play out like a documentary of an investigation, like yeah, like make full length films and charge people fucking money for that shit. But he's got I don't know, probably hundreds of thousands of people subscribe to his Patreon, so I guess he doesn't really need to. People already pay him tons of money to keep doing what he's doing. So
Well, see, that's another interesting thing. People, they make content on multiple different social medias, YouTube, or maybe they stream on Twitch, Kick, insert here.
mm,
Um, but then, yeah, then they have a Patreon where lots of those people from all those different social media networks can literally all meet together on one platform to throw you an extra bone.
right. Or even not, and you just there's like the tier system. I've never really subscribed to anybody's Patreon. I subscribe to a couple I subscribe to one or two things, I think, on Grouped, which is basically like Patreon, but it's really only for like artists. And yeah,
I'm not familiar with it, to be honest with you.
it's pretty much like Patreon. You can set up a tier system. And when you post things on there, you can set a tier for, I guess, the post. So if people aren't in that tier, they won't see it. You see what I mean? So it's like you
Yeah.
can tailor your content. Kind of like I think Twitter does that now. Like certain people will post content for subscribers only. Shit like that.
Yeah, I ditched Twitter like a while ago.
I use it for like news, hitting news, man. If all of a sudden my cell phone reception's being weird and I just turn on some Wi-Fi, I'll go to Twitter, search, it'd be like T-Mobile, just see if there's a million people complaining about it, and I'll be like, yep, wasn't just me.
That's fair. That's fair
You
way.
know, same with like I said, like Upper Echelon and CoffeeZilla and all these other people that I watch. Like I wouldn't know about certain stuff if I didn't find people who were doing like even Joe Rogan, for example, like that guy talks to some very interesting folks. May not agree with all those people, but he just sits down with them and has a conversation and just, I don't even think Joe even really cares about understanding the person he's talking to as much as he cares about trying to understand what's being talked about. You know what I mean? Whether or not he agrees with it or not, he wants to like understand the individual talking.
Mm-hmm. I mean, you can at least once you understand the individual, you can kind of understand like their aspect and where they're coming from with their opinion on the subject.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know anybody who could disagree with that isn't a Karen.
There's somebody.
There's
Trust me,
probably
there's somebody
out there that'd be like, no, sometimes you should not understand people. You know?
Sometimes you shouldn't. Nah.
Like, you don't have to agree with anything anybody does to understand that, you know, you don't want to associate with that person probably again after a conversation. You know, there's no point in being hostile, especially if nobody's holding a gun to your head or whatever the heck it is.
Better stop talking to that man.
I don't get hostility in conversation, and I'm really trying to work on that, especially when it comes to like me and my lady, because she'll start getting a certain way, and then I'll feel myself like feeding into it almost, and it's like, oh man, one of us needs to pull back, and it's like you have to be like self-aware in those moments, I guess, to be like, it's not about being like the bigger person. It's more about like self-aware. So like, that's a good example. So like, say I say something she doesn't agree with, and I can tell that in some way that shifted her tone or whatever. So I'm conscious, and then I continue down that path in some regard. Whatever happens in her reaction, it's not my fault. But I definitely, it's like I led her down. Like I'm like, come here, come here. You know, it's almost like baiting. You know, certain things. Once you realize somebody is shifting, if that person isn't the kind of person that likes to debate or even have an amicable like thing without getting the emotions heightened, and I'm not saying I don't do that sometimes. Again, that's not what I'm saying. I'm trying to get better at that. And I think that talking to more people and listening to people talk makes it easier to point those things out, you know?
Yeah.
I guess it's a good way of saying that.
I mean, it made sense to me at least. So
I mean, I try to articulate properly. I'm trying to stay away from the phrase, You ever record a YouTube video? They're just riddled for me with ums because I don't script nothing. I don't think scripting is authentic unless you're good at acting. I'm not a good actor. I'm just not. I might
yet.
I might be a little bit. I might be a little bit. But I'm just not a good actor. Like if somebody's just like, yeah, say this line and then I'm gonna need you to laugh afterwards. It's like everybody's gonna know that I'm not laughing for real. Probably never a skill that I'm gonna learn how to do just because maybe you're right. You're probably right. I was like, could I do a skit? Could I make a skit believable? Maybe. Probably not if it's a comedy skit.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Nah.
I don't think I'd be able to do it. Maybe if it's like one of those serious comedy skits where it's not meant to be like haha funny in the video, but more haha funny to just the audience. Kind of like some Jerry Seinfeld shit. That kind of comedy, maybe. You know, where it's
very dry, serious humor.
well, it comes across almost more authentic that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it would be something that somebody might do in a regular conversation rather than too scripted. I don't know. You ever heard of Curb Your Enthusiasm?
Yes.
Yeah, I think that show does it really well. I'm just finally watching that.
I mean, I'm not like super like familiar. Like I haven't watched like all of it, but I have seen quite a few episodes.
Yeah, it's pretty much Seinfeld, but with the writer of Seinfeld instead of Seinfeld. Pretty much
Just
it.
Seinfeld.
And he's playing himself, too. He's playing himself. So I might have to definitely figure something out, especially with like, I don't know how you can shut off all your do not disturb. I bet that would do it, wouldn't it? Do I have a do
Oh
not
yeah.
disturb button? I probably have a do not disturb button somewhere. Let's try that out. I keep getting notifications that keep popping up. Some of them will pop up, like chat windows will pop up and stuff. But this was dope. This was dope. I don't ever do this. I don't ever like talk to people. Holy shit, I got 10 text messages. Of course. Shoot the first podcast, get 10 text messages.
Hey man, that's how it goes. You're busy trying to do something, and now everybody wants to hit you up.
Yeah. Yeah, finally. Hey, actually that makes sense. You know, when you sit down and do the work, more people come knocking. More opportunities. I
Yeah.
think some people were actually sending me audios for the new episode of Day in the Life.
Oh hell yeah.
So that shit's turning out, man. Fucking production quality, man. So, but
It has been pretty good.
yeah, I mean, I need to get better at shooting video. That's pretty much where I'm at there. Like, I get into it, and I'm like trying to do certain stuff, and I don't think that works. And
maybe not for everybody, but
I need to create, it's something I heard, I think a couple of people say, is you need to create footage that can be used as raw as possible.
Mhm.
Right? Because you can always edit some sort of effect over a video. There's lots of different editing software. So me, I move around a lot. I do certain things, and I need to just really like lock in and figure out how to not create such a fucking shaky cam. You know what I mean? Like that definitely happens a lot. So
see, what you could do is you could be there, right? And you could have somebody else holding the camera. That way you could do your interview, you could do your moving around, dancing, getting involved, making it raw, real footage. And meanwhile, you got someone just standing there just
yeah, it's funny that you say that because it's happened a couple of times where people will take the camera. It happened in episode. Yeah, it happened in episode 2 a little bit, and there was a section that was talking about me because Travis was asking me some questions and whatnot. So I ended up on the other side of the camera on that one, and even in this one, Nikki No Love was like, "Let me get some shots of you," and
there you go.
I left a whole scene in there because I like to. I'm trying to create a structure, and the structure pretty much is kind of uh, performance leading into uh, performance footage of the sets, edited into almost a music video format with hopefully better footage in the future. And it goes to music and it has them answering questions and stuff. And I have all of the different artists answer the same questions. So you hear how all of these people answer the same questions differently. So when you're hearing and listening to them, some of the people don't repeat the question. So you don't really know what question they're answering, which is interesting, especially if one of the first people I include is asking the question. When you hear them later, you almost like draw, it's like, oh, this must be what he's talking about. That doesn't work all the time. So sometimes it's probably just going to be, you'll just hear people talking. But I'd like to have a format, you know, so intro, you know, which I have an intro already made. I finally chopped up an intro that I'm happy with being the intro to every single episode.
There you go.
To me, like looking at the camera, I think you might have seen it on Facebook. So that'll probably be the intro to each of the episodes because it says it's a RubyCloud Entertainment thing. It says who's filming, and then all the other stuff will come in later. Dude, I got a credit sequence now. I got a credit sequence that I can go back in and edit to include different names later. And it's a scrolling one too, bro. It's a scrolling one. Not just popping up, disappearing, popping up. No, it's a fucking scrolling fucking credit sequence.
Like an old school movie.
Yeah. Like a full production, like a fucking, like any movie. Movies still have credits. We just don't watch them. Netflix goes to the next episode.
Yeah.
So credit.
Like, yeah, it makes. Especially if you like skip the intro once or twice, it just doesn't even try to play it the next few times.
Oh yeah, just like it'll start skipping the intro sequences or the.
It'll be like a 3-second cutoff between episode 1, episode 2,
right,
or whatever,
But yeah. Well, I appreciate you doing this with me. I don't know what we're going to call each other because we didn't introduce ourselves. I guess if people don't know who we are and they're watching this. My name's Aaron.
Hey.
This dude is Mud. I don't know what he wants to call himself.
I'll be Mud. I'm
You'll
him.
be Mud.
So.
There you go, Mud.
Yeah.
She fucking hates me. But take it easy.
Yeah. Take it easy, brother.